buy-to-let investor from East London and runs the host of the Canary Wharf Property Investors Network meeting. Ed specializes in creating high yields, working with joint venture partners, and also mentors and teaches other investors on the rules and regulations of being an investor and landlord. Today, Ed is going to give us some advice and tips on what to do when it comes to selling our properties fast. Hi, Ed.
Hi there, Shamini. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Just to tell our viewers, what are the top 5 tips for property seller would you give?
Right, the top 5 tips for when you kind of decide that you want to sell your property. I guess the first one is to get a realistic idea of how much your property is worth. As a homeowner, you know, we may have lived in our house for anything from 6 months to 60 years, and prices have obviously changed. We've done work for property, we've fallen in love with it, we think it's the best thing since sliced bread. And it's very difficult to disassociate ourselves and our emotions from the house that we're living in. But of course, a buyer who's coming in, while they may fall in love with our property or with our house, they will not have the same emotional attachment to it immediately as we do, and they're looking and comparing it with all the other properties that they've seen on the market. So they're going to have a very realistic idea of what our house is worth. It's important that we also have a realistic idea so that we're in the same mindset as they are. So I would say it's important to find out what else is on the market, and what price it's selling for, what condition it's in, if it's find out the price of the ones that are relatively the same as ours. But then also speak to your local estate agents and ask things like, pretend that you're a buyer of a property so that you can ask how much you'd have to pay for something, because that's going to give you a more realistic idea of actually what your house is worth than them trying to sell you the idea that of selling your house because they want business. Often they will say that they will be able to get this much money for it when they know that actually it's not going to be quite that much. So it's a good idea to find out the difference between what they put it on the market for and what you're likely to have to accept as an offer. And if you've got a realistic idea of what you're going to sell it for, then you won't be disappointed when it comes to accepting an offer or the offers start coming in. Number 2 will be about addressing your property. So, and this is information that's on lots of property TV programs. I'm sure you've all have heard it before, but it's very, very crucial when it comes to marketing the property. The estate agents are responsible for taking the photos and standing in the right place and then using a wide-angle camera and listing it on all the major portals. But it's your responsibility, really, to take all your personal possessions out. Take all the photos of your dogs and pets and not too many kids of your children all over the place. I love my children, but I love them far more than other people do. So other people won't want to look around my house looking at my children. They'll want to look around my house looking at the odd painting and being able to see the house so that they can imagine where the pictures of their children might go, which probably won't be the same place as ours go. And also taking out as many knickknacks as you can possibly bear to take out. My taste in art, in sculpture, and having my sort of creations that they've done around on our shelves is not what people are going to want to see. And also, I might, even down to my book collection, might not be the same with other people's. So taking out and decluttering, taking out photos and personal items is the second kind of really important point. The third is really about what you're bound to have to do during the sales process. At some point, the solicitor is going to ask you to provide records of the work that you've had done to the property. If you've built an extension, they're going to want to see the planning application, the planning approval, and also all the building control approvals that you've had as the work's been going on. And digging out that stuff in advance, because you know it's going to be required, is a really important thing, because it just saves time during the sales process and makes it that the sales process is far more likely to actually go ahead as planned. The worst thing, is to actually get so far down the line of selling a property have found the new house that you're going to move into, fallen in love with it, and then find out that your house sale falls through, and therefore you can't complete on the house of your dreams. So make sure you've got everything in advance. Now you also need, and this kind of comes down to the idea of possibly needing the speed that you need to move. Do you need to move fast? And do you need to realise the cash that's in your property? Is there any money locked in your property? And do you need to get it out? What are you going to do with it? So get some idea of the speed of the process that you need. And this really comes down, brings us round to point number 5, which is you need to really know the reason why you're moving. Okay, and if you've got any issues that you need to solve, any problems that you need to solve, or any conditions of your move, knowing those in advance as well, so they don't either make the sale fall through or cause problems for the sale, or in fact they mean that actually you might not be able to use a traditional sale method and you might go for a different method of sale. Understanding your fundamental reasons why is really important. And when you come to I deal a lot direct to the people who are actually selling the properties and not necessarily going through estate agents. The more information that the seller of the house can give me, the truthful information, allows me to solve any problem or situation that they may have. And without the truthful information, the solutions I offer might be numerous, but might not be able to solve their problem. I might not be able to solve the situation, at which point I need to be able to tell them. I can only know that if I know what the situation is. So the more honest you are, if you do have a situation, the more honest you are about that to someone who has maybe different ways of acquiring property, the more likely they are to be able to help you.
Wonderful. I think that's a brilliant tip. It's very, very important for owners of the property, and if they're looking especially for a quick sale, to actually tell the investor or the person who's buying the property so that they can actually help, and they both have a sort of a win-win situation on this. Thank you, Genuine Property Buyers, for viewing this topic on the 5 tips for a property seller, the top 5 tips for a property seller. Thank you, Ed, for joining us on this interview. For more tips and more videos, click on our subscribe button. If you have any questions, and like us if you like our videos. Ed will be doing another series of videos, and if you have any questions, let us know, and if you'd like to ask Ed any questions. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.